We made it. We made it to the best day of the week. And for God knows why, it's Tuesday, because the baseball slate is usually on Tuesdays. Welcome into the Pickoff, everybody. I'm your host, Colby Marcio. As always, this is presented by Betting News and powered by the one and only BetOnline. You take your phone, you pick it up like this. You go, boom, but you put it on the screen. Obviously, forgot a step. I'm not really good with steps. You put this, what you're looking at, on your TV screen. You grab your phone, boom, and then you hold it like this, like your mom would. Like she doesn't know how to use a cellular device, and then use that QR code, use the sign-up bonus, boom. And then you're locked in. What is going on, everybody? Massive show. We got Danny Burke in the shadows. We'll be bringing him up shortly. But without further ado, I want to say one nice thing about the Red Sox as a Yankees fan. One nice thing, because there was a lot of rude things this past weekend by Red Sox Twitter talking about my beloved Aaron Judge. Oh, he went 0 for 5? He's terrible. Grow up. Grow up. You're just jealous. Denver sucks. Is their new City Connect jerseys? Oh, my God. I've debated all weekend long if I should buy one. And I hate Boston sports. Love the city. Hate the sports. I am obsessed with those green monster jerseys. Those are marvelous. Hello, everybody. Hello. We're here to have fun. But yeah, I can't get over how hot they are. And one of my friends, Mitch, tweeted me and said, "I'll buy you one if you wear one every Friday." And I debated it for a long time. But I'm going to stick to my roots. Screw that team forever and always. But if someone does want to get me one, it would have to say on the back, "Go Yanks 27." And I never bring up the rings because that's just too easy and it's a layup. But without further ado, let's get the guest in here. Let's talk some real baseball. Enough about the jerseys. Everybody, your favorite guest, Danny Burke. Here he is.
Y'all gon' make me act a fool. Hey, yo, what's my name?
What you
Y'all gon' make me lose my cool.
I've tried so hard.
What you really want? What you really want?
But it doesn't even matter. Come on, try.
Oh, I didn't even bring him up. I'm a moron. Oh, my God. I was too busy retweeting your post. I'm an idiot. Oh, my God. Obviously, I'm by myself today. Danny Burke, ladies and gentlemen, your favorite guest. Danny, it's been too long, my friend. What's it been since March? Oh, my God. I'm a real a-hole. That's what I am.
Yeah, it's been a minute, man. I think since before the season began. But hey, we had to let the games marinate a little bit so we get a bit more to talk about and dissect. But no, always pumped to be on the show here, man. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, I always tell myself, oh, it's May. I got so many weeks to have them back. And then I'm like, it's been since March. It's too long. But how's the season been treating you? What props have been cashing for you? What have you been eyeing? What hasn't worked? Has anything been good, bad, whatever? How's the season been?
Yeah, it's been okay. I mean, we're up a little bit as of this point, and it's kind of funny. I fall into the classic trap at the beginning of the year, like I'm sure a lot of people do, where you're excited for the season to begin and you really want to dive into the data, but there's only a finite amount that you can use in the first couple of weeks and rely on. So you kind of go back from last year and try to figure everything out. And it's very volatile. And then you kind of, start down a little bit. And then I slowly claw my way back. It tends to happen all the time. You probably think to yourself, well, Danny, why don't you just not bet then at the beginning of the season? Well, I'm not going to not enjoy a nice wager or two on baseball when the season gets going, man. Colby, you and I love that action. So no, we're doing good now. Yeah, we're getting into the rhythm of everything. And it's kind of getting now toward the end of May when at least I personally feel like I get that data dump of more comfort that I can rely on with these pitchers and looking at those underlying metrics and so on and so forth. So from a side and total perspective, definitely getting in a rhythm there. Prop wise, definitely still have yet to fall into the category of a stud with the home run picks like yourself. So I'm certainly still following you every time I'm doing something with the long ball, but more so with the props, I'm going with the strikeouts. And that's kind of traditionally been the area that I've gravitated to the most. That, and then I think last year, a lot of times I was doing the outs recorded by the pitcher, but haven't done that as much this year so far because the books kind of caught up to that and there wasn't as much value, but there's still some to be had with these strikeout props early on. So that's really the main area of attack in terms of props that I've looked to focus on.
Yeah, I remember last year because the start of my season was so bad. I'm like, just get me to late May. Just get me to late May. And it's because that's when you know who's who. The data is worth trusting. I feel like just saying I've been really lucky to not be in the dumps. I was down 50 units as of a year ago today, I believe, around there. It was like, oh my God, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what I'm doing.
Makes you second guess everything, right?
And then it sucks because I still got to go out and do this, you know?
Right,
I'm like,
right.
Oh, I guess they're going to fade me today.
Right. At that point, you're just like, look, this is what's happening. Feel free to go the other way. And, as long as you're making a profit, that'll at least make you somewhat happy.
That's what they do with college hoops. They know it. They still mention it. They're like, I really miss fading you in college.
As long as you can make money one way or the other, right? That's the most important factor here for you.
That's the Brad Evans mentality. They can fade you. No one's holding a gun to your head saying you have to take what I say. But I'm going to give you the floor and let you talk about the Cubs. If you got anything negative, you got anything positive, you got anything you want to rant about, we're going to get it out right away because everyone knows that the Paul rant is up over the horizon. It's coming. So they're like, see right there, fading. Oh, screw! Don't fade to Paul. But the Cubs have been great. PCA is amazing. If you don't like PCA, you're probably not anywhere near Chicago because why would you care about PCA? But he's awesome. Why did it take so long for him to get moved up in the lineup? I typically don't bet on the Cubs. I don't know why. I feel like I never bet on the Cubs on anything. But I saw him in the lineup around the 7-8 spot. I'm like, this guy is far and away top 2 player on the team, if not maybe better than Tucker. What is he doing down there? And then they finally moved him up. Were you at least thrilled about that?
So I'm in an interesting point here with PCA. And don't get me wrong, like I love him as a player, and he's been beyond awesome and beyond any realistic Cubs fans' expectations up to this point. But it made sense to start him there because you got to remember this is maybe now going on to his second full year, and he kind of has a little bit, and it's funny because I think you're going to bring this up, but he's kind of got a little bit of that Javi Baez mojo around him to where, I mean, this guy can just absolutely boom, but then there's the other side of where he can absolutely bust. And you saw that volatility very much present last season with him. And again, you're for sure giving him the benefit of the doubt. I mean, he needed to get consistent at-bats a full season. The dude's still very, very young. So you start him out in that position. You kind of alleviate some of that potential pressure, burden that may have been put on him. Let him get at ease, see some pitches, see some big league action to get the season kicked off right. And once he started getting more comfortable into that rhythm, that's when you can slide him into that upper spot. And now he's been able to grasp that task, grab a hold of it, and just dominate from that point on. I mean, again, like I can't believe he's been as consistent and as successful in that spot as he's been to this point. And kind of like how I feel about the Cubs overall, Colby, I don't want to say false hope, but it's a little bit of a tease. Now, PCA could definitely keep it going. Is he going to win MVP? Realistically, not. I mean, that would be insane if he did.
Yeah.
But it's a little bit of, man, I'm so excited for him, but I'm like cautiously optimistic because at some point in this year, the drought is going to come. And for a player of his caliber, again, if he's on like that Javi Baez trajectory, not to the extreme that we saw from like Baez last couple of years, but even when Baez was on the Cubs, there is going to be that low level, and you got to be ready for it when it inevitably comes.
Yeah, it's that you're the realistic Chicago fan. That's what you're being. Because you're not over here saying, "Oh, they're going to be great all season long. They're definitely going to do some damage."
Right.
I really don't know what the ceiling is for the Cubs. It's not a World Series. I don't think it's a World Series. There's too many good teams in the NL right now. But it's at least second round, right? I
Yeah,
think that's definitely the ceiling.
agreed. I think, yeah, the realistic ceiling is them winning one playoff series. And last year,
Which would
for
be
me,
awesome. Which would be fantastic.
No doubt. But again, like you said, I mean, when you look at like Cubs fans, I mean, every year it's a World Series expectation. And in terms of, the ownership they have and the talent they did just have when they won it 2016, had that run, sure, it should be that. But the ownership has shown us time and time again, they're not ready to fully commit like some of these other organizations. So until they do, you can't really buy into that fully. And again, it's a great thing that we're seeing this success with this team right now, but it's almost a little scary because the ownership can just go, hey, we're pretty content with what they have. Now, obviously, the pitching needs a complete overhaul. The bullpen is a disaster. Starting pitching, they're getting banged up left and right. Steele going out this year is a huge blow. Now, if Steele was healthy, and obviously Imanaga is going to come back, but if Steele was healthy, then you could make the case that this team could run for the pennant. But still, the realistic expectation is for them to win one series. But they're going to have to make some moves around the deadline. They have to, and they will. It's just a matter of how good these pieces are going to be.
And how cheap they'll be.
Yeah, right. Exactly. So how much are they willing to spend? And if the offense somehow can continue to do as good as they have been, then you got to go all out, because right now, I mean, Colby, they have two catchers who are actually hitting, and you're not just going up there going, all right, well, here's an automatic out. Getting one catcher who can hit is hard in itself, but now they have two guys who can actually have a productive at bat. Again, we'll see if it can continue throughout the year, but trying not to get the false hope this early on.
Yeah, as much as I have I don't hate Chicago teams. I don't know what it is, but I do enjoy when they're good. It's really weird. Like when they're terrible, I'll drag them through the dirt. But when they're good, I'm like, this is good for the city. This is fantastic for the city.
Oh, it is.
But it drives me nuts because I just hate how cheap the owners are. Every single team in the city of Chicago is cheap. The Cubs, they paid for basically Nashville over there in Wrigleyville, but they wanted Justin Turner. And then they're like, well, that's good enough. Well, we got Kyle Tucker, Justin Turner, and it's not like 2015. I don't understand it, how you have all that money. The Ricketts have all that money, but they stop. They're like, there's a point where they don't go past and they don't want it bad enough. They're like, oh, you were good. First playoffs, that's about it.
Yeah,
I don't get it. I don't get it.
I know it's and again, where I'm saying like it's almost bad that they're in the. It's not actually bad, but like
stop it. They have all the money in the world.
Yeah, they'll be all right
anywhere they want.
But it's almost like, and it's not, again, I don't want to say it is almost like, but I'm trying to kind of like compare it. Like with the Bulls are the most infuriating team by far in the city of Chicago with ownership. Yes, you could tie in the White Sox because Reinsdorf is with both, but the Bulls have been stuck in purgatory year after year after year. The last playoff win at home was that Derrick Rose buzzer beater, which was 10 years ago. And they just keep getting into that playing
that was
game.
Senior year of high school.
Yeah, it's just think how long ago that was. I mean, it's a national team that historically is one of the best, if not the best, with the run with Jordan in its history, and they're just this terrible. Again, that's a different sport, but you get the point. You're right.
I do the same. We're so similar. Yeah. I've mentioned it too. I don't get it, and I don't understand. We're gonna go into NBA talk real quick, but I don't understand how Bulls fans are so content with just, hey, we're gonna get the 10th pick in the draft. We're gonna make the play-in. Your ceiling is that, and it's going to continue to be that.
Yeah.
Don't you want to make the championship? And with the NBA, you can see it. Like it's very apparent who's the best 4 teams in the league, or who could possibly get past that. But the Bulls aren't doing it. It doesn't make any sense.
Well, yeah, from the fan perspective, what kills me, Colby, is the fact that the Bulls still have the league's best attendance every single year. So there's no boycott going on.
That's the city's problem.
It's just so like nothing is going to change. If you're Reinsdorf, who, I mean, obviously he cares to a certain extent. Hey, you're seeing those revenue numbers going up there. Why change anything? Why spend more money here when you don't have to, as long as you're making I mean, that's his mentality, and that's why it's so stupid, and that's why it's never going to change unless the fans actually make a statement about it. Now, the TV ratings I know went down, but obviously going to the subscription network helped that. But it's I don't know. It's stupid.
It's just a stupid city that doesn't make any sense. But god damn, I love that city. But I missed my transition. I was going to follow up with PCA to Javi Baez, but we got to talk about Javi. It's still there. We still got to talk about it. Is he back? Is he hashtag back? I mentioned him a month ago, and I was kind of just being a smartass about it because I always talk crap about Javi, slider low and away. It's the easiest joke of all time. The lowest, the fruit is on the ground. It's rotting. That's how easy that joke is. He's batting a sub 300, 6 home runs, 28 RBIs, and an 811 OPS. He hasn't had a batting average that high since he got traded to the Mets. That's how long it's been since he's been above 250.
It's really fun from, again, formerly rooting this guy on as a diehard Cubs fan to see this revival hopefully come to fruition. I mean, we are seeing it, but is the longevity going to be there? Again, that's what scares you. And that's what I was hinting at with the PCA and Javi Baez type of nature is these guys go in these spurts and then it just completely dies off. Now, yes, that's going to be inevitable with Javi Baez again. The question is, will he be able to replicate what he's doing right now once again, like the good hitters do? And he can at least make up for it, Colby, as we know, with his defense, which has been really, really impressive in the outfield. I mean, this guy is just an absolute beast with his mitt. He always has, but we know how great of a defender he was in the infield. And the fact that he can transition seamlessly to the outfield just speaks to the type of athlete he is. So as long as again, you're not necessarily expecting him to keep this up offensively, probably, but as long as he's not just having these horrific strikeouts and can capitalize when you have runners in scoring position, his defense and that clutch hitting can do enough to get by to keep him in a pretty lighted spot to where he's going to be favored by the fans and by the manager, keeping him in the lineup consistently. And with as good a pitching as the Tigers have, and even though the AL Central looks kind of competitive, it's still relatively a weaker division, right? Like it'll be enough to keep him in the lineup consistently.
It's the Tigers.
Yeah. So I love it. I'm hoping the best for him, but again, just approach it cautiously if you're someone ready to go all in on the Javi Baez experiment.
He's kind of like the perfect 7, 8, 9 hole hitter. And while you were talking, I thought of this. Is he not the most raw athlete maybe ever? He's so raw that he's been in the league a decade, and I still think he has places to improve on, and he's still a super freak athlete. He's very unique. He's very easy to make fun of, which is fun. But he's got all the tools in the world. I don't know what it is with the swing. But if he was to fix that swing 10 years ago, I think we'd still be talking about him being one of the top players in the league. Yeah. Because that's his number one problem. When you think Javi Baez, you think slider low and away, he swung and the ball went in the dugout. And whoever his hitting coach is, the hitting coach of the Tigers, I really want to know that 30 for 30 more than anything in the world. You name the 30 for 30 you want. Mine is what the hell happened? What's going on with Javi Baez's swing? Yeah.
Well, I mean, and the way he came into the league, he's swinging out of his shoes, but he was making contact and doing all right. So at that point,
terrible dude,
from the Cubs coaching perspective, it's like you're not going to change anything with this kid who's just absolutely on fire right now. So he just went in 100% always, kept that mentality going. And then when things started going wrong for him and he's not used to being the man and he's on a different team, I mean, mentally that completely can mess up a player of his caliber. So it takes a while to recover from that, not, going back to just doing whatever and being able to make contact on any pitch. And it's taken a while for him to dig out of that hole. And luckily he's got the talent to do so. And maybe now it's a bit more mechanical with his approach. And like you said, props to whatever hitting coach helped him out there, but a little bit more steady swing out of Baez, which is great to see.
I got more complaints, Danny. I got more complaints. And it's a very, again, the low-hanging fruit stays the lowest with me because I always have thoughts, and this one I think is just an absolute missed layup, even though it was the stupidest thing ever. How was rivalry weekend for you? Because I didn't know it was rivalry weekend until Friday. I think it was Friday, or actually it was Saturday at noon. That was when I knew it was rivalry weekend, I believe. Because who told us? I wasn't aware.
You weren't aware of your Yankees playing the Mets this past weekend? It didn't put the two and two together.
When I think rivalry week, I think the last week of the college football season.
That's true.
If it really was rivalry week, we would have had Dodgers, Giants, Yankees, Red Sox,
Yeah.
the crosstown Cubs, Cardinals.
Yeah, Cubs, Cardinals.
It was just a crosstown weekend essentially.
It was weird that they called it that. It was almost like they're trying a little too hard to get some excitement going early in the year, but you can promote it. But yeah, why call it that? I don't know. To be fair, as a diehard Cubs fan, I do hate the White Sox more than I hate the Cardinals, believe it or not. I don't know if I've told this story, but long story short, some of my friends growing up, some of my best friends were diehard Sox fans. And of course, that was around 05. So they were just relentless to me. And then same thing for me back to them. And don't get me wrong, I very much have disdain for the Cardinals, but I didn't know as many Cardinals fans as I did Sox fans. So we're just, throwing shade at each other left and right. So, and I love it when they dish it back to me. I mean, that's how it should be between the Chicago teams. But it was great for the Northsiders. Hey, we'll take the sweep. Yeah. Can you be so happy about it against the lowly White Sox? Well, you take what you can get at this point, Colby. It's hard to sweep in Major League Baseball. Look at the Angels. They just won their World Series sweeping the Dodgers. That's going to be the best part of their year. But we'll certainly take that against the Southsiders. No complaints here. PCA destroyed them. There's our PCA trophy if he's again realistically not going to win any other trophy. So great weekend on the north side, no question,
without a doubt. And then to the cherry on top was the Subway Series. What an absolute I'm going to say disappointment. What an absolute disappointment. We can start with the bleacher creatures turning their backs. A lot of people thought it was corny. A lot of people thought it was lame. A lot of people are saying, oh, he was only on the team for a year. Yeah, but Juan Soto coming into the season, still one of the best baseball players actively playing the last 10 years. It's a lot different when you make a very, very massive impact in your one lone year with a team and then go across town and get the bag of a lifetime. I think it's justified. I think if you don't understand why Yankees fans are so upset about it, you don't understand sports. I think it's fine. I thought it was kind of funny they turned their back, and then the head guy of the bleacher creatures was the only one not turning his back.
And again, I take your word for this more than, my opinion I would offer, obviously you being a Yankees guy. But yeah, I mean, any fun gimmicky thing like that, I have no issues with. I know people think that a lot of fans take it too far when they do that, or like you said, like quirky or corny.
They didn't throw anything at them.
No,
throw anything. They kept the batteries in their pockets.
Yeah, it's a funny gesture. I mean, I'm for it. Who cares? It makes for some good entertainment. But yeah, I mean, were you surprised from being a Yankees fan perspective that, he left, or that just more so he went to the Mets when he left? I mean, what was the reaction for it for you that, and then like, what was that emotion for you going through it as in comparison to what they did turning their backs? Like, wait, did you have the same sentiment as them?
I think as of this past weekend, I was kind of over it, and it seems to have played out a lot better than I thought. The team has still the same morale. I think Judge just does a fantastic job in that clubhouse, keeping them in check. Everyone likes each other. And no one ever seems to have a problem. But I guess when Soto left, there was a problem. But I don't remember, even though this was about 8 months ago when he signed or something like that. I don't remember how I felt. I don't think I was confident in them getting him, or I was. I think I was shocked because I didn't think it would be the Mets. And I really thought it was going to be the Yanks because just how awesome his season was. Why would you want to mess up that mojo, which worked? Essentially, it worked because they went to the World Series, had a cakewalk to the World Series, probably the easiest path maybe of all time. I wish they would have lost, and then Boone would have been fired. That would have been fantastic. But I go back to the Guardians home run, and I think as a Yankee fan, that may have been the coolest moment as a Yankee fan for me. And I've seen a World Series in 2009. I was too young for the other ones, but that at bat will live with me forever. And it really does suck that he's gone.
Yeah.
But God damn, does he look miserable as F in Queens. He looks miserable. And I was going to ask you about his effort, but I could just go into it with my take. A lot of people are saying he's not getting paid $700 million to hustle. he's essentially, I know it's probably Lindor and Big Meat Pete's team, but when you're getting paid $700+ million, you're kind of the heartbeat, in my opinion.
Right.
You're kind of the morale guy. You're there to put the rear ends in the seats. And if you're not hustling, you're really just showing your true colors, in my opinion, or showing what's going on in your head that you're not happy. Because if he was hustling every play, being a better defender than maybe he's been in the past, it would build morale and it would be great for the Mets. Now, I'm not a big Mets hater. I think the old Mets in 06 are one of my favorite teams of all time because of the black and the blue. I fell in love with it as a kid. You know, kids in colors, they love colors, especially me. I'm not the smartest, so colors, I'm like, ooh, that's cool. But I think it's bad. I think if you think that he shouldn't be hustling because he's getting paid to hit home runs and get on base and walk, you're kind of ignorant, because there's a lot more that goes into it than home runs, because he's a massive part of the team. That's why he's getting paid a generational money times 10. I think it's sad. I think something's going on in there. I don't know what it is. I guess we'll find out in 10 years, maybe sooner than not. But I think it's sad. I think it's sad that he went somewhere where he's clearly not happy.
Do you think, a little bit could be attributed to him maybe not wanting to get an injury this earlier in the season, or just him waiting till things get a bit more exciting later in the year to put forth a full effort? I'm not saying that's the right way to go about it. It's pretty stupid,
I know what
right?
you mean. But it's kind of like the not hustling when the ball's hit to the second baseman. But you never know what's going to happen. I know they're the pros, but they drop balls.
Yeah.
But correct me if I'm wrong. Was it when he was in Washington, or was it with the Padres where he kind of had a similar thing and we weren't like too high on Soto? Like right now, we're not too high on Soto. He's not playing to his level that he was a year ago.
I want to say it's with the Padres because I feel like I don't remember as much slander with him, if at all, when he was with
100%.
Washington. It was just about how much of a phenom he was for how young he was. So I would guess with the Padres.
I just don't remember. I feel like I do, and I feel like I don't. I feel like he was kind of happy there, but wasn't. And then obviously he went to the Yankees, but he's weird. He's weird right now. Something's going on, and it's sad because he's awesome. He's awesome when he's hot. I wish he would run. I mean, he's not the fastest dude, but come on, dude. Get some sweat going. Get some sweat. But let's move on. We got other things to talk about. I'm wearing the hat for a reason. There's a lot of buzz in Pittsburgh right now. Before we started the show, I saw a tweet, and it said, if you were the GM of the Pirates, would you shop Paul Skeens, or would you let him hit free agency or whatever? And I think you have to trade him. If you're not going to get him to sign, you have to trade him. And then it leads to my question, Danny. What is the perfect trade for a guy like Paul Skeens? Who are you going to get? You're going to get. I was trying to process a trade. I'm not a GM. I don't know how that stuff works. I just let them deal with it. I've never had to formulate a trade. So I was wondering if you had any thoughts.
I wish I could contribute to this, but I mean, like, it'd have to be something obscene. And I don't think the Pirates would consider. I mean, they're not in a position to, in the sense of like, you're just completely looking for a rebuild at that point. And if you're doing that, not only, yes, are you probably going to get some draft picks, but obviously you're going to get some current really strong talent as well. But then you're bringing that talent to a team that's completely underperforming. And then inevitably those guys are going to be underutilized, and you're just going to be stuck. Like we've said, it's the word of this show, I guess, purgatory with Chicago sports teams. Yeah. It's
just a circle.
Exactly. So I think it would be ridiculous to, and you still obviously have a lot of time before you kind of got to, delve into that decision for Paul Skeens. But hey, the Pirates, don't get me wrong. I mean, not that I don't think
it's so sad we're talking about it year two.
Right.
It's so sad. Oh my God.
It's not like we were expecting them to, be a playoff team, but I did think they were going to at least have some streaks here and there, and it's early still, but I thought we would see a little bit more competitiveness out of them. And, same with the Reds, but the Reds have picked it up a little bit as of late. But yeah, the Pirates, I mean, maybe they'll kind of get hot around July and, they'll kind of rally around each other or something like they did last year. But no, it sucks to see a guy like Skeens kind of go to waste there, but that's how
they
it
need
goes
Jared
sometimes,
Jones
man.
back. They need Jared Jones back. I think when they get him back, they'll be a little bit better. But the only trade that I could process in my head that sounds worth it is you help out the Red Sox. You get that miserable guy that's at the DH spot. You trade him and Christian Campbell for Paul Skeens and maybe give them Key Brian Hayes. Maybe give him Key Brian Hayes, and then you have a third baseman, and then Devers is happy. I was just trying to think of who would be the happiest to be in a new spot. Does
You
that
think you'd
trade
be
work?
happy to
Who
go
knows?
to Pittsburgh, though? I guess maybe less pressure there. So
Yeah. I don't know. I'm not good with the trade stuff, but I just
there
think
were
it's
rumors.
insane.
Everybody was saying that, and maybe it was just like in the Cubs Twitter that the Cubs would try to go out to get Devers from Boston, which I was like, hey, I'm not opposed to that. I mean, look, the guy's gonna figure it out. It'll be all right. Like, I get that it was an atrocious start, but he'll figure. He's still very young. I mean, happens in baseball, but probably ain't
Super
gonna happen.
weird.
We know they don't make moves like that. So
No. But the last thing we need to talk about, what the hell do the Orioles need to do, man?
oh my goodness.
Is there any way to salvage this season for the rotation at least? They got 90-year-olds on the bump.
I mean, that was their huge red flag, of course, heading into
It was the
season,
only red
right?
flag because
Yeah.
that offense is perfect.
Exactly.
Clearly
And you
not. But clearly not.
yeah, and you just felt like it was an inevitable waste for this team looking into it. Just like you're really gonna roll with this rotation with the offense you have, as you alluded to, a division that was clearly getting better. And the Orioles were riding at their peak, and then you lost the top pitcher, and then you didn't do much to boast that once he was off the team. So I don't think they can do much, to be quite honest, because even if you get one arm, that's still not going to be enough to get by the competition you have, not only in your own division, but of course the entirety of the American League. So this may go down as a wasted season with the offense they have and some of those veteran guys getting a year older. It sucks to say because they are a fun team, but that's just
They
the
are.
reality of the situation.
And they just won 100 games recently, and now it looks like
Yeah.
it's all going to waste. I was listening to the Orioles broadcast yesterday because the Twins game was rained out, so I was like, I'll just turn on the O's game, see how they can turn it around. And the broadcast was talking about Grayson Rodriguez bobblehead night, and they're like, yeah, we really need him back. I'm like, this guy
Oh my
sucks.
God.
Grayson Rodriguez is terrible.
How the mighty have fallen. I guess that'd be a little bit better than a Dean Kremer
Oh my
bobblehead
God.
night, but
See a
geez.
Kyle Gibson. Oh my God, they're so bad.
Oh man.
Weird
That
game.
is, yeah, that's tough to hear. Yeah, not fun if you're an Orioles fan. You kind of got out of the depths after such a long time of being in no man's land, especially then after Machado dipped out, and yeah, now you got nothing. But we'll see.
Oh, well, we have fun things to look forward to. Danny, the people need plays. We're 30 minutes in. They're here for your plays. They're here for you. What do you got for us tonight? What are you liking?
All right, I'm feeling a little scared about at least one of these plays, and I'll explain why. But I'll start with one I feel a tad bit more confidence in here, and I'm sure you've heard me vent about this one pitcher that I'm fading, and I'm going to be fading former Chicago Cub Kyle Hendricks. He is one of my favorite pitchers to fade. Love the guy, love the professor. We all know he's not what he once was, and we've known that for the past 3 to 4 seasons. So I like the A's here on the run line. Speaking of, you were talking about like how you've been going through a tough spurt. I'm actually setting a record this year, Colby, for run line losses where the game falls on one. Like my team wins, but they win by one. I'm not even, it's uncanny. I think I bet, say 12 or 13 run line bets, probably 9 or 10 out of them have lost from like falling on one. It's unbelievable. So maybe bet the exact score. Yeah, that nasty hook.
The Pirates hat is fitting.
So anyways, though, I do like Oakland here, right? I mean, they're coming off 6 losses in a row. This offense is still really strong, especially back at, their wonky home ballpark they got right now against Kyle Hendricks, who clearly is not a great pitcher. 517 xFIP. He's got low left on base percentage, giving up 1.5 home runs per 9 innings pitched. So Oakland should be able to provide the offense, no question. The concern is what this Hoglund character here can do. Gunnar Hoglund, 6'4", though, big body, 3.78 ERAs, expected ERAs concerning at 4.96, but he's only started 3 games, got beat up against the Dodgers, which pretty much everybody does at one point or another. the other two starts weren't too bad. So I'm hoping the Angels kind of hot streak comes to an end relatively. It's going to be a high-scoring game. I'm just hoping the A's bullpen can close it out if Hoglund doesn't go that far. So I do like the A's on the run line. The bet that scares me here, because I thought Sunday was a perfect storm to bet them, but that's the Dodgers on the run line. Took them against the Angels facing the sweep, and it just seemed too good to be true, and it was. I mean, the Angels swept them. So Dodgers now losing 4 in a row, late about minus $1.15 on the run line. Yamamoto taking the bump. He's been outstanding. The Diamondbacks offense, don't get me wrong, has been great. There's familiarity there. You have extra incentive, despite it being May, with this Dodgers team on a losing streak. They're not used to this. And early in the season, you can't really attribute something like that to a team like the Dodgers, who are World Series contenders and winners. But this may be the spot. Not saying that it's worrisome if they were to lose, but again, maybe a little extra motivation with your star pitcher taking the bump. Ryan Nelson, high ERAs, underlying metrics are a little bit better, but he's still walking a lot of batters. He's got a high hard hit rate of 45%. Hoping the Dodgers can turn things up here. Not as much chalk as you would normally have to lay. So that's my other run line bet tonight.
Love it. I think Ryan Nelson has the worst rating on batters-box.com today. So that's looking great, especially yesterday. I think they should have. I thought yesterday was going to have a lot more runs from both sides. I know the Diamondbacks shoved against Knott. I can't believe Fott shoved to the 6th inning. I was like,
it's your boy.
Oh, my God. I had the Dodgers team total bases yesterday, and it's still cashed. And it was at 0 till Mookie homered. And then he had 2.
Oh, making you sweat, man.
Oh, love a good sweat. Did you have anything else for us tonight?
That's pretty much it. I didn't see too many props that I was a fan of. Maybe just going to be sweating out some basketball with that going on later. I think one of my favorite bets there, just to throw some hoops, I think it was Nas Reed under 11.5 points. I know some other books are offering 10.5, but if you get 11 in the hook at a decent price, you're not laying too much. Something to consider for hoops tonight.
Danny Burke, baby. Danny Burke. Danny, the floor is yours. Let the people know where they can find you and what you got going on.
Yeah, appreciate it, man. At Danny Burke 5 on Twitter. So what I do is DFS with Stochastic and some betting with Odd Shopper. Incredible tools happening there. So all the information you could want or you need, check it out on our Twitter profiles. Again, Stochastic, Odd Shopper, and then mine at Danny Burke 5. But hey, what I'll be doing on Twitter tonight is looking to see what home run bets you got later, Colby. So I'm pumped to be sweating that alongside you, brother.
Thank you, my friend. I will have you on soon enough. It will not be another month and a half. I promise you. I need more guests. I need long talks. I need to talk about everything that's going on in baseball. I can't do it all by myself. I hate doing it by myself. But appreciate you as always. I hope your card sweeps, and I hope you have a great week.
Likewise, man. Anytime. Appreciate you.
Thank you, my guy. If you're not going out right now and following that man, leave. You can get out of here. Get your rear ends out of here, Chad. All right. 407 Central. Let's get down and dirty. I don't know if you guys saw, Puckett is not coming on after this. So you end your day with me. How do you like that? How do you like that? My bladder is on 12 right now, but I'm going to stay here until 4:30. If I pass out, I pass out. I'll be giving you guys the filth. Who wants the filth? I want the filth. All right, definitely me. Whew. Let's go. Let's get it started. Let's start it up the top. Actually, I got a better idea. Chat. I have the best idea. All right, you know the drill. You put in promo code VIBES on Smackin'. You get 10% off your next purchase. Courtesy of us, Betting News. The lemon pepper. You want to know why it's dwindled down so much and the churros are still full? Because they're that damn good. Now, the What's Smackin' POD. Phillies, team total over. Ooh. Typo from an idiot. Hold up. 1.5. That's because I have to write it so many times. 1.5 seems natural. Phillies, team total over 17.5 total bases. Excuse my typo. I am not the smartest human being. Told you that before. I'll tell you again. It is a fantastic day to have some meatballs. It's a day to serve up some meatballs, and guess who's going to serve us those meatballs? Antonio Senzatella! Antonio Senzatella, baby. He's on the bump today for the Rockies, and we're going to be on the Phillies today. If you think that 17.5 number is too high, go look at Antonio Senzatella's stats. Dude is atrocious. Tied for the worst pitcher on the day, according to batters-box.com. Has a poor average hitter matchup, WOBA, ISO, hard contact, and K percentage. Has a whip of 2, sub 2, and a 6.39 ERA this season at home. His ERA is 7.65. He revived the entire Rangers roster last week. He's terrible. The Phillies today, 6 elite rated hitters on batters-box.com. 3 great, 0 above the league K rate. 7 above, did I say 0? 0 above the league K rate. 7 above the league ground ball rate. 7 is a lot for the ground ball rate. However, Antonio Senzatella, he's giving up a whole boatload of hard contact. Sorry, the saliva's through the roof right now with these seeds. Let me just spit them out. I could have filled a whole bathtub with the amount of saliva I had from those smacking seeds. The Phillies are 9th in total bases per game, around 13.8 a game. The Rockies allow 18 bases a game at home this season. 18. If I lose this play, I don't care. I don't care. You know why? Because we all know Antonio Senzatella stinks. And this would be his best outing. Probably. I'm not going to look at the stats because we all know the rest of it is bad. I can't believe how much saliva I had with those. I can't believe how much saliva I was producing with all those seeds in my mouth. But that is the What's Smacking POD. Phillies team total over 17.5 total bases at -110. That is my favorite play of the day. And that is... baking soda. All right, let's get into the play that makes me the most uncomfortable today, and I'll get into the why, but I still love the play. I wouldn't have bet it if I didn't like it. Kyle Stowers, over 1.5 total bases at +145, sprinkle on the home run at 525. He's on a 7-game hitting streak. That is the only thing that makes me uncomfortable about this play. I typically don't like guys that are just getting hit after hit after hit because they're bound to go over. I can live with them going over just because of the price of +145 for the bases. I think that's just too high of a value of a play for a guy who's playing so well and the matchup is so great that I can just be like, all right, I can handle losing this play. He's batting .303 on the season, 940 OPS, the 4th highest rated hitter in this matchup. Does fantastic against Jameson Taillon's pitches, who has a sub-6 road ERA. Opponent batting average is .276. Poor average hitter matchup ISO. 4 of his 6 pitches are below league average. 2 of the plus value pitches only makes up 24% of his repertoire. And like I said, Stowers has fantastic numbers against those pitches. I really like it. I really like it a lot. This kid's been fantastic. He's been seeing the ball extremely well. I can live with losing this play because we're getting so much value on the bases. And the home run is just 5-1, above 5-1. Thank you. Thank you. There's a lot of plus value props that I'm going to be giving out in the next couple minutes. But yeah, Kyle Stowers, my only concern is he's on a 7-game hit streak, but I think we get to 8 tonight. Chet, how we doing? Oh, he's on your home run lay. Yeah, but Kev, guess what? You don't get the discount. You don't get the discount. Don't get the discount. All right, let's get into the game that I have the most plays in, and that is the Rangers-Yankees game. If you didn't already see the video that I had posted earlier today, I love Aaron Judge. Love Aaron Judge. We're getting back-to-back games with him facing a lefty, taking on Patrick Corbin. Judge is just batting out of his mind right now, and especially against left-handed pitchers. Only 28 at-bats against left-handed pitchers, but he's batting .464. 1809 OPS. 28 at-bats, though, but he is killing them. number 1 rated hitter on batters-box.com. In 90 elite ratings at home, 71% of the time records a hit, 36% of the time records 2 hits, 58% of the time goes over his base prop, which I paid today. I should have paid it on Sunday when I really liked this home run because I'm an idiot and you got a double. If you like a home run, take the bases. I think that's what I'm going to say from here on out, and I'm going to do it myself. And Judge's home run trend, 35% when at home. That's 90 games when elite. Patrick Corbin, poor average hitter matchup, WOBA, ISO, and K percentage. On the road has a sub-4 ERA. He's been very serviceable this season. Don't get me wrong. He has been great for who he is and what we've known him to be 2 years ago when he was a putrid pitcher. But 3 of his 5 pitches are below league average. And take a wicked guess. Do you think Judge is murdering every single one of those pitches? Because yes, he is. He's murdering all of them. Love Judge. Love the price. Not too much on the -130. I did get -129, which is kind of a cool number. But I think he does have some action today, especially when he's batting basically 500 against lefties. I can't pass it up. I can't pass it up. I paid 176 for Shohei yesterday. I'll pay Judge 2-1 any day. Now, some super significant value in this matchup where I only took someone to hit a home run because the number is so insane. I wrote about it on Betting News. Josh Young, 9-1 to hit a home run today is insane. An insane number. I know he hasn't had too much pop this season, but he's seeing the ball extremely well in May. I think he's 5 home runs this month. 9-1 is insane. I'm not going to take anything else besides the home run because his hit was -200, so I would have to do the 1.5 bases. I have so much on my card today that I just didn't want to pass up on 9-1 home run because I really like the kid. I think he's a fantastic player. But let's get into a guy I really like, Wyatt Langford. Wyatt Langford today. He's gone back-to-back games with a hit, has a great rating on batters-box.com. Not elite, but great. Baseball Savant, I usually go through Baseball Savant and just see who does well against pitches, but I also use Fangraphs. But he kept coming up at the top for most of Will Warren's pitches, like nearly all of them. And he was super high rating. I was like, you know what? We're going to ride with him. Will Warren, 4.61 ERA, 132 whip this season. Poor average hitter, matchup ISO and hard contact and ground ball percentage. So hopefully Wyatt's hitting line drives. Will Warren is giving up 48% hard contact. 50% of the time, hitters are hitting the piss out of the ball. 50% of the time is an insane number. And I needed to be on somebody on the Rangers today. Needed to be. Wyatt Langford has fantastic numbers against all of Will Warren's repertoire and everything in his arsenal. I had to be on. And I love the +145, love the 540 home run price. There's so much value today. I just can't pass it up. That's why I have 12 plays today. But one that might not happen, I don't know. The weather here has been really weird. You might have saw the video, but we're rooting for the big dumper today. Rooting for the big dumper, who has been fantastic on the road. 265 batting average, 1031 OPS on the road, in 21 elite road ratings. 76% of the time records a hit, 57% of the time goes over his base prop, 38% of the time hits a home run. 38. You bet your sweet Bippy I'm on that home run, and you bet your rear end I'm backing it with the bases. Bryce. I always want to say Brees. Bryce Wilson has an S in the name. 3rd worst pitcher on the day. Poor average hitter. Matchup ISO, hard contact, ground ball percentage. 4 of his 5 pitches are below league average. 4 of his 5. His sinker is his best pitch. The only positive one. Callaghan's sinkers this season. 368 batting average, 1478 OPS, 314 WRC plus. I love Cal Raleigh today. Also a big fan of dumpers. So shout out Cal Raleigh, the big dumper. Now let's get into my final play of the game before my bladder explodes. It is on fire right now, my bladder is. Mr. Bobby Witt Jr. One, I can't believe he's nearly even money to get 1.5 bases. Go over it. The home run price is fantastic. Has a hit in 3 of his last 5 games, coming off 2 straight hitless games with a double last night and 30 elite ratings on batters-box.com. Reports a hit 80% of the time. He has insane trends. It's so hard to look at Bobby Witt and go, I'm good. 80% of the time records at least a hit. 53% of the time over this prop of his bases. 26% of the time over his home run. Now in 14 road elite ratings, 78% hit, 50% over bases, 35% of the time hits a home run. And Hayden Birdsong is on the bump. If you don't know, he's usually really rated poorly on BattersIfandBox.com. He's got some moments where he's good, but he does not have any good pitches. Poor average hitter matchup, ISO, hard contact, ground ball percentage. He's giving up the second most hard contact on the day at 40%. I really couldn't pass up Bobby Witt being minus 105. It was really tough for me to be like, all right, well, I was juggling between Wyatt and Bobby. I said, we're doing both. We're doing both. Wipe it clean. We lose both. Whatever. At least I was on both, and I didn't bet one and go, oh, damn, I didn't bet the other guy. We're on both. The card is massive today. It's 12 plays. My bladder is on fire. That's what you get for drinking two things at once while Danny's talking. But those are the plays. Card will be out soon, and I can't wait. I can't wait. I think I'm going bowling while all these plays are playing, so hopefully I can watch some of them later. But let me go through the plays again. The smack and play of the day is the Phillies team total over 17.5 total bases at minus 110. I just mentioned Bobby Witt's bases at minus 105 over to 1.5. The home run sprinkle at 575. The big dumper. Pray to God they play today in Southside. Cal Raleigh bases plus 108, plus 230 for the home run. Wyatt Langford, probably the best Ranger matchup against Will Warren against the Yankees today in the Bronx. Over the bases at plus 145 and a 540 home run. Josh Young, I'm on him to sum it all up. I'm really on him because he's 9-1 to hit a home run. I think it's an insane number for him to be that high. He has probably the second or third best matchup against Will Warren, according to what I go through on a day-to-day basis. I think it's a great spot. If you want to take the bases, the safe route, highly suggest. I have 12 plays. I have a ton of plays out. Really love Judge. First play I locked into the day was Aaron Judge bases, minus 129. You'll probably get minus 130 on other books, plus 200 for the bases. Kyle Stowers. We're going for 8 in a row, Kyle. 8. His hit streak goes to 8 today if he cashes this. Well, hopefully he cashes this because he can just get a single and screw us on the hook, whatever. 525 for the home run. Fantastic price. Most of those plays, all plus money. I'm rooting for fun. I can't wait. You guys are awesome. I'm never afraid of fun. Have fun. Never afraid. You guys are awesome. You have made this season nothing but fun. I love cashing with you. I love sweating with you. I love losing with you. I apologize for the losses. We don't do that, though. Nothing hits harder. Hi, Graham. Nothing hits harder than winning with you guys. That's all we want to do is have fun. Remember, if you're not having fun, something's wrong. Make sure you're having fun and bet responsibly. This is going to be the best day of our lives. Promise? Maybe. We'll find out. But this has been the Pickoff. I'm your host, Kobe Marcio. Don't forget to give me a follow. If you're not following me on Twitter, come on. Come on, tell them, chat. Tell them. No, it's fine. But I'll be back tomorrow with Shaggle Bets on Up Your Units. I'll see you guys there. Let's sweat and have some fun tonight. Love you guys.
What you know about rolling down in the down in the
Now I know y'all be loving this shit right here.
rolling.
What you gonna do?
Rolling.
What you gonna do?
Down in the rolling.
What you gonna do? Right, y'all be loving this shit.
What you know about